Hello, everyone! Welcome to Molehill Mountain. Oh, hey, James Strider. Hello. Episode 246, I'm Andrew Eisen. First, I suppose I should give an update on the ongoing saga of my attempts to buy decent workout equipment. So, when last we left off in this gripping tale, I had requested a partial refund because I didn't want to. This took 2 hours to put together, so I didn't want to take it apart, put it back in the box, and haul it to the post office to send it back. So instead of a return, the seller said, see, I thought I was going through Walmart, but Walmart went through a third-party seller. So I got in touch with the seller, and they agreed to do a partial refund. I should have been more specific because they refunded $30. Now, the bench plus the weight rack was about $200. So I told him, first to say first, hello, Room Trading. So I told them I have not seen a weight rack for less than 80, so you owe me at least another 50. And that's where we left off. So they gave me another 50. So, the piece by itself, the weight rack by itself costs nearly $200, but I found it for, I think, $97. From the actual manufacturer. So, so I've got a weight rack coming, should be here by the end of July. It should. Who knows if it will? I hope it's a quality piece. I hope it arrives, and I hope it's a quality piece of exercise equipment, and I hope I don't accidentally drop a bunch of weights on my face trying to do, incline chest presses or something, because that would suck. And so, and that's the update for the epic tale. So, alright. Monster Hunter. I like Monster Hunter. You maybe like Monster Hunter. So, they made a movie last year, live action movie, in the vein of the Resident Evil movies, where they say that they're big fans of the game. Maybe they are, but none of that actually comes across on screen. Like, you can tell they're at least passingly familiar with the iconography of the game. But I could be wrong, but I do not at all believe that Paul Anderson and Mia Jovovich, however her name is pronounced, I don't think I've ever actually heard her say her own name, so I don't believe them when they say, oh, I'm a huge fan of the game and I love the game and the fans are important. We just want to make sure we make a great adaptation of this property for the fans. I don't believe you, because you have yet to do that. When they first announced that they were making a Monster Hunter movie, I was like, cool, I hope it's good. I mean, there are monsters, go hunt them. Kind of hard to screw up. I mean, like, the only thing I don't want them to do is do some stupid portal into another world thing where some earthbound dipstick falls through said portal into Monster Hunter World, and it's, they have to battle monsters to get to another portal to get home, and then Rathalos or someone comes through the portal and attacks New York or San Francisco or something. I said, just don't do that, and we should be fine. Unsurprisingly, that's exactly what they did. I've not seen the movie, but I've heard that non-fans didn't care for it, and I've heard that fans didn't care for it. So, So this week, well, actually, I think announced in 2018, there was an animated Monster Hunter movie called Legends of the Guild. And, cool, animated. Maybe they'll actually make a Monster Hunter movie with hunters and monsters. And then the hunters hunt the monsters. Monster Hunter, you see. And then we heard nothing about it for 3 years. Trailer finally came out this week, and what do you know? It looks like Monster Hunter. So, for any producers who are thinking, what do you do with a Monster Hunter movie? I mean, what could you possibly do with that narrative? You've got to pull in someone from Earth or something. No, you don't. And I've discussed this before. I mean, the games have narratives. You're going to have to flesh them out a bit for a movie, sure, but the games do have narratives. Like, here's an idea. What's the game about? Well, you are a hunter. There's monsters terrorizing the land. Go get them. That one too big? Hunt some smaller monsters to make better weapons and armor to get the big ones. Still too much trouble? Bring your friends in and hunt as a party. That's what the game is. So what should you do for a movie? Well, you're a person in a Monster Hunter village. There's a monster coming to raise the village. So you go out there and you gather some friends and you go out and hunt some smaller monsters to make equipment so that you can take down the big bad. Done. Monster Hunter. There you go. Well, someone must have been listening, because that's exactly what they're doing with Legends of the Guild, the Monster Hunter movie. This one stars not some goofball from Earth. We're not doing an Isekai here. It's just Monster Hunter. It's Aiden, everyone's favorite A-list excitable hunter from 4 in Monster Hunter World. So he lives in a village, and he's trying to be a hunter, and he sucks at it because he's a newbie. So he runs into someone else who mentors him and helps him be an actual monster hunter, learn him the ropes and stuff. And the other hunter says, "Hey, there's an elder dragon migrating, and guess whose village is right in the middle of the migration path? Yours! Let's go scout out the Elder Dragon. Yeah, that's a powerful sucker. We're gonna need some friends to help out." Kaboom! Sends up Signal Flare, or SOS Flare if you played Monster Hunter World. And so they get a party of 4 with a Palico. And they're like, we need better armor and weapons. So they go hunt like Deviljho and Kongalala and Nersilla and stuff. And make better weapons and armor before taking on what appears Lunastra. There you go. There's your movie. Your Monster Hunter movie with hunters who hunt monsters. It's really not that hard. You just have to care about the property. Which is why when I see the result of the first Resident Evil, well, the first and second Resident Evil movies, I say, okay, you're clearly familiar with at least what the game looks like. But I don't believe you actually care about the game at all. And again, I don't need you to exactly reproduce the plot or characters of the game. This is a bit of a tangent, but for example, I thought the Fear Street movies that they just released on Netflix were really good adaptations of the Fear Street line of books from the 80s. It's not an adaptation, at least I don't believe it is. It's, as far as I know, it's not an adaptation of any specific storyline from the books, but it takes place in Shadyside with a bunch of kids who are terrorized by all manner of horrible things going on. That's what Fear Street is. You don't need to do an exact adaptation of a specific storyline. But Fear Street, well, I mean, it's rated R and some people died pretty gorily, but which is not exactly in line with Fear Street, but you know, it's an adaptation. It still had the basics. You know, horrible crap happens in Shadyside, and kids have to deal with it, and not all of them make it out alive. Good. That's what it is. Monster Hunter. People live in the land. Monsters can sometimes be a problem. Here's how we take care of them. Monster Hunter. Good. Done. Now, it's clear that this movie, animated, CG animated, did not have the biggest budget because... some of the models, the animation isn't great, and some of the models look like they were like pulled from the Vita. But it looks like it may not be the prettiest, and oh my god, Netflix or whoever produced it should be embarrassed by that poster. That is one of the most shoddily put together posters I've seen in quite some time. I mean, it some people, it looks like a PS2 game. Well, okay, that's too far, but that poster, yeah, that looks like someone used Photoshop, photoshopped some PS3 or Vita assets onto a poster. It looks utterly awful. Now, the live action film posters were boring and unimaginative. This is shoddy work. They should be embarrassed by it. But maybe the movie will be good. Again, actually, I don't think I've said this. I do want to be clear. I'm not saying that the Monster Hunter animated movie will be good. Dunno. Could suck. But it does definitely look like a Monster Hunter movie. So I have a feeling, good or bad, at the very least, it's a Monster Hunter movie. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it comes out in August. And I actually just read that it's only like 56 minutes long. So, what have you guys been doing for 3 years? The movie's not even an hour long. Did you have one really old computer to render it? You finished it 2 years ago, you've just been rendering it the entire time? On Windows 95? So, last week, the week before this one, so 2 weeks ago, Nintendo announced a new Switch called the Nintendo Switch OLED model, which is a Switch with a 7-inch screen, a 7-inch OLED screen. A couple other things too, but basically just a better screen. This week, Valve said, here's our new portable console. It's a Switch, just bigger. Now, I know a lot of people like portable gaming. I personally don't, but that doesn't matter none. And, well, phones are pretty portable. They fit nicely in your pocket, so if you're stuck in an airport, you can pull out your phone and play Mario Run or something, whatever, Pokemon Go, whatever the kids are playing on their phones these days. Nintendo said, hey, we made a dedicated handheld gaming device. It's like, great, this does not fit in a pocket unless you're wearing some pretty baggy cargo pants. You have to plan ahead. You need like a backpack or a briefcase or, again, cargo pants if you're bringing your Switch with you. As cool as this thing is for portable gamers will still admit, yeah, it's a little big. It's not exactly terribly convenient. It's something you have to plan to bring with you. It's not something you just keep in your pocket all the time like your phone. This is something you have to make plans for. Valve looked at that and said, hey, okay, sure, but what if the Switch were even bigger? Well, okay. So, Valve announced the Steam Deck, which is a little Linux computer that will run Steam games. at least most of them. There is some rumor that, some games might not run, or at least run well, on the Steam Deck, because they don't work on Linux. It's going to be a drawback if stuff like, Fortnite or PUBG or any of the really popular Steam games don't work on the Steam Deck. But it is, just like the Switch, a 7-inch screen. I think it's a 720p monitor, the screen. It's about twice as heavy. It's wider, fatter, and taller. It's bigger, and it's more expensive. The base model, which has 64 gigs of storage, same as the OLED Switch, is $400. But they have a better, spiffier edition with 256 gigs of storage, and it uses an SSD. That'll be $530. And you're probably going to want the ones with the solid state drive, so yeah. Of course, there's a $650 one with 512 gigs, also an SSD. There is a micro SD card slot, so you can put more games on it. Jared says, was the point of the Switch to put it into your pocket? No. My point is, but for something that's portable, phones, something this big, if you wear clothing with pockets, this will probably, unless you're talking about some really tight jeans where the pockets are useless, you can slip these in pretty much any pocket. Hell, I've seen people stick them in the waistband of their pants, and I keep thinking it's going to fall down. Or they'll stick in the back pocket, and it's just hanging out like this, and I think that's going to fall out. But it's not my phone, not my problem, I guess. But the Nintendo Switch, you can't stick that in a pocket. I mean, again, if you have like big cargo pants, I guess you can. You probably don't want to because of the screen, and then you've got the two control sticks sticking out the side, rubbing against something. Again, it's portable, but it's not terribly convenient. Well, Valve came out with a portable Steam machine. Is it portable? Yeah, you can carry it around. It's not exactly convenient. It's even bigger than the Switch. They have a case for it. I mean, if you're on long commutes in the morning, which I don't know if you are anymore, you probably haven't been for the last year and change. It'll be interesting to see how well this does. Then again, I know a lot of people who just really love the portability of their Switch, but don't actually go anywhere with it. Or rather, they don't go any further than, like, their bedroom. I know a lot of people have told me, oh, I just love curling up on the couch or in my bed with my Switch. That's weird to me, but however you like to do it. So maybe there's a bunch of people who are, sitting at their desks playing whatever the hell they're playing on Steam, Doom Eternal or Battlefield or Call of Duty or something like that. And like, you know what? Instead of playing it on this really expensive gaming rig I have here, I'd really like to play it in much lower quality on a less comfortable device on my couch or in bed or something. Well, for several $100 more, now you can. Warren! Haven't seen you in a while. Hello. Jared says, I always see the Switch advertised with a backpack of sorts. Yeah, because, again, doesn't really fit in a pocket. You need to plan to, most people don't plan to bring their phones anywhere. When they leave, they just throw their phone in their pocket. Or their handbag if they have no pockets. Or their waistband. You know, it's just habit. It's like a watch. I'm not planning to, I better take my watch with me. No, you just put your watch on. I don't wear a watch personally, but same idea. Switch or the Steam Deck, that's something you have to plan to take with you. So it's not as convenient. But, also, apparently the pre-orders are kind of got borked, which happens with everything all the time, so that's not terribly surprising. But boy, did Nintendo luck out announcing the OLED edition the week before. Because hey, Chaos, that probably would have stolen their thunder had they done it this week. I mean, at least they're not in poor Elgato's shoes who picked this week the same day. I think July 15th, the Steam Deck was announced on July 15th. Elgato picked that day to announce their the new version of their Stream Deck. So Valve has the Steam Deck, Elgato has the Stream Deck. Oh, Elgato, I'm so sorry. I can imagine the poor people at Elgato going, no! Why? The same deck? What are the odds? Come on! Gosh darn it to heck. I mean, those are two completely different devices, but the names are so damn similar that I don't know. I mean, because people are going to confuse the two. I mean, they're going to mess up the names, but I think if you know you want the video game console, you're not going to accidentally buy the Elgato Stream Deck, because it's not a video game console. But it's rude, I suppose, to laugh at others' misfortunes, but that did tickle me. I did think that was pretty funny. Jared asked, do you use your Switch away from home? Me? No. The only time I ever take it out of its dock is pretty much on the podcast when I'm referring to it. It's the only time. I personally, not to disparage anyone who has an opinion different from my own on this particular subject, but I genuinely have never understood the desire to play video games in less quality and less comfort. I have never sat there thinking, you know what would make my game experience better? Lesser quality visuals, lesser quality sound, and a more uncomfortable way of actually controlling the game. That's what I want. Apparently a lot of people want that. Or at the very least, being able to play games in bed, because you can't move your TV into your bedroom, I guess. I don't know, is just something that's very desirable to a lot of people. Also, not everyone lives alone, so I imagine portable gaming is very convenient if you live in a house with other people and there's only one TV or one PC and someone else needs to do their homework or wants to watch something else. Well, you can take your Switch or your Stream Deck and go to your room and continue playing games. So there is that. But if you're me, and you don't go anywhere, or rather you don't commute, you don't travel, and you live alone, I don't value portability at all. For example, I'm currently playing Metroid 2, the Samus Returns, on the Game Boy or 3DS, and I'm having fun. But all the while I'm playing it, I'm thinking, I would really rather play this on the TV. It would be just a better, more comfortable experience to play it on the TV rather than cramped on the handheld. But that's just me. And my desires and whim do not dictate the market, so. Did I... Oh, I missed that. Jared said, did you use your Switch away from home in the past? I'm sure I've brought the Switch to someone else's house, but I brought the dock with me, you know? Actually don't remember ever taking the Switch with me anywhere, but had I would have taken the dock with me to plug it into someone else's TV. Because I mean, you play it on the plane, yeah, for 2.5 hours before it runs out of batteries. And again, I just really, really, really do not want to play games like this. First of all, these controllers are dog shit. I mean, these are genuinely some of the worst controllers I've ever wrapped. Probably the worst controllers I've wrapped my hand around. It's actually better attached to the Switch, and the grip makes them better, but I'll tell you what, I have never experienced Joy-Con drift. Because I don't use the Joy-Cons, I use the Pro Controller. Which is stupidly expensive, but my sister bought it for me for my birthday, so thank you, Kelly. Warren says, I throw my phone into a back pocket. Done. Same with the 3DS. You know, the DS and 3DS, while a little bulky, they closed and could fit into a pocket. Let me grab my 3DS real quick. We'll do a little size comparison here. So, phone. Whoop. Boom. Done. Okay. Did the pocket test. That's fine. 3DS. Boom. Done. Alright. Not a problem. And you don't have to worry about, like, the analog stick. Of course, this is more of a This is more of a flush analog stick, so it wouldn't catch, but whole thing closes, so you can just put it in your pocket. Alright. Now let's try that. Little size comparison here. Woo. Now, let's get the Switch. Here we go. Yeah. Alright. Pocket test. Alright. Here we go. I'm going to leave the house. Better take my Switch with me. I mean, I have big pockets, so I can do it, but... Oh. Uh-oh. You know what's happening here? It's caught on my underwear. The right analog stick has actually snagged on my underwear. I can't get it out. There we go. Now I gotta fix everything here. Boxer briefs, if you're wondering. So it's snagged. So this analog stick actually snagged my shorts. So, I mean, if you have big pockets like mine, you can actually do that. I really wouldn't want to. Because the stick's snag, it's really big, it's got I mean, it can be done, but you have to have big, roomy... Well, actually, I actually have there we go. Let's see if we can do the front pocket here. Yeah, there we go. That's attractive. There we are. So there it is in the front pocket there. I can just pull that sucker out and play whenever I like. Super convenient. So, no, not my preferred manner of gaming. I'm also not a short spurt gamer. If I'm gonna game, I want to sit and game for a while. I mean, you notice my Sunday streams are usually 3+ hours. So, I mean, it's just different ways of playing games. I mean, if you enjoy the portability thing, great. That doesn't... I'm not trying to disparage anyone. I'm just saying that's not how I enjoy games. And I still think it's funny that Elgato decided to do the new Steam Deck on the same damn day that Valve released their Stream Deck. I mean, surely Valve took a look at trademarks and probably knew about Elgato's Stream Deck. I mean, come on, guys. You could have... The Steam Station, the Steam Box, the Steam Player, anything. You had to do Deck. The Steam Boy. The Steam Man. The Steam... You probably want to have the Steam name in there. Steam-a-go-go. Jared says, before 2020? Did I use my Switch away from home in the past before 2020? No. I don't think so. But what I'd really like to talk about tonight is anime. More specifically, Isekai anime. And I'm probably pronouncing that very terribly. So, Isekai, Isekai. That is a genre where the protagonist is moved to some other world. Either they die and are reincarnated in a different world, or a portal opens up for no good reason. It just flings them into a new world. Sometimes a variation on the genre will be our protagonist is a monster or alien or demon or something from another world or plane of existence who comes here to Earth and has fun adventures. You know, like Devil's a Part-Timer or something like that. So it's a long-established genre. It's nothing new. This has been a genre for a long, long time. Kind of like Axiom Verge. Chicago, hello. Please say I like it. Please say I like what, Zygon? Hello, Zygon, by the way. Zygon's an isekai slut. Okay, so in other words, Zygon's a fan of the genre. There are entries in the genre that I like and some that I don't, and I'll be talking about a few tonight. Because something I noticed recently is there are a lot of isekai anime right now. Now, I don't know if Japan is producing more than normal, or if North America is localizing more than it has in the past, but holy biscuits, there are a lot of these suckers. So I wrote down as many as I could think of off the top of my head that are currently airing. Not as many isekai as I could think of. As many as I could think of that are airing currently. Welcome to Demon School. My Next Life is a Villainess. Second season, I think. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Also the second season, I think. The Great J Will Not Be Defeated. I believe that's one of those demon from another place comes here. Tsukimichi Moonlight Fantasy. The Dungeon of Black Company. Drugstore in Another World, The Slow Life of a Cheat Pharmacist. How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. And my favorite title, I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9. That's 9 of those suckers that are currently airing right now. There's more. I know there's. That's just what I could think of off the top of my head. I've not seen all these. um, so I'm thinking. So again, don't know if Japan is producing more right now or if North America's just importing more. Either way, the world is can be a very stressful place, to put it lightly. So I could understand why isekai shows are so desirable right now. A show where you get to leave Earth and just go live somewhere else for a while? Yes, please. So I can understand the appeal of this genre right now. Um, let's see what the chat is actually scrolling here. Let's see. What are we talking about? Zygon can't get enough of them. Chicago says he gets sucked into a different universe, I think, and never beat Axiom Verge. I've not played Axiom Verge, so I'm not sure what the setup of that is. But the other world is a lot of times like a fantasy world, Lord of the Rings, medieval fantasy kind of thing. Sometimes it's a video game, a literal world of a video game, like usually like a Dragon Quest medieval fantasy kind of thing. Although occasionally it's like a dating sim. I think My Next Life as a Villainess is some woman gets reincarnated into a dating sim. Muffler! Use a muffler, you asshole! Someone just drove by very loudly. But if you remember, if you've seen series like Dot Hack, Sword Art Online, same kind of idea. Let's see, what are we talking about? Have I seen RE0? Resident Evil 0? I played it. I know that's no, RE0 is something else, and I don't think I've seen it. Let me see if the art looks familiar. It's RE0. There's a colon in it, right? Yeah, RE0, starting life in another world. Let me look at that. Yeah, I've not seen that one. That's... I think that let's see, that looks like that has 2 seasons, and season 2 aired last year, so maybe it's not airing right now. Let's see. Doop doop doop. Scroll. It doesn't matter, but I've not seen that one. Saturated genre. There's a lot of them. Slime is good. The reincarnated as slime. Zygon's watching all of them. There's so many fun ways to spin it. That's one of the things that I've checked several of them out, because a lot of them do genuinely come at it with a really interesting setup. I'm going to talk about them here in a sec. Where you get my list back out here. So, so that time I got reincarnated as a slime. I believe that's in season 2 right now. I saw the first... I checked out season 1 when it first started airing, and I watched probably 5 or 6 episodes. It's, like the title says, our hero gets reincarnated as this... I don't remember if he's, like, knifed to death or something. He just gets reincarnated, and God is like, oh, dude, that sucks. I am so sorry. That was not supposed to happen. Here, I'll reincarnate you, and you can have some extra... special stuff, and he gets reincarnated in Dragon Quest land as a slime, but he's like ridiculously powerful, and I think he can absorb others' special powers or something like that. It's cute, it's inventive, it's charming. The problem I had with it is, at least in the first 5 or 6 episodes, our hero faces absolutely no challenges, because he's stupidly overpowered. And I know that's actually the joke, But like a lot of Superman or Hercules stories, the showrunners oftentimes struggle to find anything that actually challenges characters who can just do anything. I don't know where the show goes, but in the first 5 or 6, but I kind of got bored after 5 or 6 episodes because everyone loves our slime friend, and everything he tries works flawlessly, perfectly. He never faces any hardships or setbacks. It's just, it's still funny, it's still inventive and charming, but it kind of lost me after a few episodes. Lee, hello. The Dragon Quest movie, it's based off the game. You mean the Your Story, the one on Netflix? I saw that several months ago. I thought it was it's a really bold thing they did there, and I thought it worked. I really liked it. I also saw there's an actual Dragon Quest cartoon airing, I think, on Crunchyroll right now, and I watched the first episode, and I wasn't really into it. It's fine. Let's see. I saw, let's see, Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. Which one is that? I think I only saw the first episode of that. Kid gets thrown into a... Oh, yeah. That's the one where he's summoned to another world, but the goddess of the world who summoned him takes one look at him and goes, "Oh my god, you're ugly. I banish you to the ends of my world. Just piss off." You know, I knew your parents, and they were hot, but you are a spud. Parents Swan, you're ugly duckling. Just get out of my sight. And that actually made me laugh. But another god takes pity on him and gives him some power, so he's like stupidly overpowered. And so he meets a fair orc maiden, and then he slays a dragon who's like, "No, don't slay me, I'll be your partner." And of course the dragon transforms into anime girl. So looks like that show may be doing what a lot of these shows end up doing, become a harem anime. That's what a lot of these end up doing. Character goes to another world and just collects a lot of cute anime girls to live with. That's what so many of these devolve into. The Dungeon of Black Company. This one stars an unscrupulous, unlikable Bobby Kotick. You know, a CEO who's only interested in making money and does not give the slightest shit about the workers whose backs he makes money off of. So he's climbed the corporate ladder and he's doing fine when suddenly he gets transported into Dungeons and Dragons land, and he starts from scratch there, exploiting workers and stuff like that. I don't know I've only seen one episode of that show. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's so far... The problem is he's such an unlikable scumbag that it's like, well, how's this going to work? But he's so over the top that it's kind of funny. And he also keeps losing. Like, every time he climbs on top of other people to reach the top, he falls all the way down again. And that's satisfying. So that show could make it. Of course, he meets a monster. And he's like, "No, don't eat me. I'll make, with your help, I can make lots of money and you can have all the food you can eat. Deal?" Monster says, "Deal." And transforms into a little anime girl. Little naked anime girl. Who looks underage and acts underage, but I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure she's really 500 years old. Because of course. Now, I don't know if this one's going harem anime or not. Maybe, don't know. But sadly, that's where I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level went. One that I really quite liked. It's another one where I think someone dies and gets reincarnated somewhere else, and it's like, oh, you weren't supposed to die here. What do you want? It's like, I want immortality, and I want to be a witch. So she's an immortal witch and lives in Dungeons and Dragons land, and every day she kills a couple slimes for pocket change, and that's how she makes and lives a quiet life in the countryside. 300 years later, uh, she finds out that she's now maxed out, or she's like level 99 because she's just been killing slimes every day for 300 years. And one of the perks of her class is like double experience or something like that. So she's now the most powerful witch in the land. So everyone either wants her to do stuff for them, wants her protection, or wants to fight her to challenge themselves. And so she fights a dragon and she bests the dragon and it's like, oh, I destroyed your house in our fight. I'll fix it, and turns into an anime girl and lives with her. And then the next episode they get a ghost anime girl, and then the next episode they get a slime anime girl, and so on. It's a harem anime, and it's fine. It's cute, but it's just a harem anime. Which is a shame because that's a fun premise. Drugstore in Another World. So I only watched the first episode. I don't know why the guy is there, but he runs a pharmacy. Well, that's neat. It's a harem anime. He has a cat girl. Well, no, she's a werewolf. So a dog girl and a ghost girl. And if the opening and closing is any indication, he's going to have a few more girls by the end of the series, so... What are we talking about in the chat here? Zygon says, I agree the whole I'm super powerful and nothing can hurt me, and Isekai has been done to death. Overlord is a good example of it. I've not seen Overlord, but there's another one. Am I going to watch the Cuphead show on Netflix, asks Lee. Sure. I don't think that's out yet, but yeah. Reverend Werewolf says, what was the name of the show with the dragon that turns into a girl? that doesn't narrow it down, Reverend, sorry. What is it with Japan and naked girls? That same thing as it is with the rest of the world, I guess. So then we get to how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. And this is one where Guy gets sucked into Dungeons and Dragons world again. But he's actually summoned there by a kingdom that is suffering from financial strife, poverty, looming attack by demonic forces, and they just don't know what to do, so they summon a hero, and some college kid from Earth shows up and says, what would you do? He's like, well, we need capital so we can sell some of the cultural heirlooms and stuff that we have for a quick boost in cash. We can put the rest of it that actual has a sentimental and historic value in museums and stuff. Let's see, you guys are growing all this cotton, but you can't eat cotton, and everyone else is growing cotton, which is why the price of cotton has gone down, because there's no demand for it, so we need to replace some of the cotton fields with food fields. And we need workers, but you screen everyone with written tests, and we only have 30% literacy. So before we can establish an education system, we need to do in-person interviews with people. And the king says, wow, you're better at this than I am. I abdicate the throne from you, throne to you. You get to be king. I'm going to go get my ears cleaned by my waifu. And he does. So he's king now. So far, not a harem. I've seen 2 episodes. So far, it's not a harem anime. He is betrothed to the princess because he's the king now. So the king's daughter is now betrothed. Although they're like, if you guys aren't into it, it's fine. But if you want to get married, great. He's put out the call for employees, and it looks like, and I was thinking, oh god, is it just going to be a bunch of women? There are several very busty women coming, but there's also a bunch of dudes, so it appears that this one is not going to be a harem anime. Again, nothing wrong with a harem anime. They're just usually not very good. Ayori Aoshi is a harem anime, and I remember liking that one, though I haven't seen it in 2 decades. So they're just kind of hard to do well, usually because the characters suck. But so out of all of these shows I've checked out, How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the... I love these terrible show titles. I don't know if they're just literal translations, if it sounds better in Japanese, or that's why I love the I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. Well, I mean, that's not just a title, that's the premise. I kind of love that. How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom, it's very different from anything I've seen, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of this one. The rest of them, Tsukimichi, I've only seen 1 episode of. I'm not sure where it's going. Maybe it'll avoid the harem traps. What was the other one? Dungeon of Black Company might be worth sticking with. It depends on where that one goes. Not terribly sure yet. I've only seen 1 episode. But the one I might stick with is Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. That's so far pretty interesting. It's also got a nice progressive bent to it. The one thing that the king possibly overlooked is at the end of the 2nd episode, he's putting out the call to, we need people, so if you're the best at what you do, then I want to talk to you. I don't care how old you are, what experience you have, how rich you are, how much property you own, what your ethnicity, race, gender, don't matter. If you're good at something, get your arse over here. I wants to talk to you. Which is cool, because he realizes that 30% of the kingdom is illiterate, so written tests don't work. So I'm going to meet with these people and find them places in my kingdom. Great. Cool. One problem, though, that he may have overlooked is not everyone is in a position to travel all the way to the kingdom and meet with the king. Now, that may be an unavoidable problem, and his solution is better than what they had, but it'll be interesting to see if that comes up in subsequent episodes. Lee, you thought Dungeons and Dragons wasn't a thing anymore? Oh, it totally is. Jared says the 3rd episode came out today if you're interested. Of Realist Hero. It did, but I'm a freeloader. So I'm a week behind on all the Crunchyroll and Funimation shows because I don't pay for either service. I watch everything for free, so I'm a week behind. Yeah. So because I mean, if you're gonna let me watch the shows for free, and pretty much the only drawback is I have to wait a week, okay. Shudder, Criterion Channel, they don't have that option, so I pay for those services. So, yeah, lots of Isekai anime. Let me think of ones that I really liked. What was it? I'm trying to think of one. It's called Tanya the Evil or something like that. That one was pretty good. I think that actually had a 2nd season, and I think I only saw the 1st season. I think they actually made more of that, and I haven't seen it. But Isekai is kind of weird, because a lot of the times it's like, why with the person from another world? Why not just have the person in the world to begin with? And I think a lot of it is the fantasy of just leaving and living somewhere else, if only for 23 minutes at a time in a TV show. I have a feeling that the world being a frustrating, stressful place is contributing to why the isekai genre is seemingly so popular right now. Reverend Werewolf says, "Isn't there a bunch of commercials that play in the episodes if you don't pay for Funimation or Crunchyroll?" Yeah. And one of the annoying things is it's the same goddamn commercials over and over. I wish they had a greater variety of commercial reels to show. Because, good God, it's like, I don't care. Yeah, you could... it's so hot. You can use an ad blocker. That will probably work. But I'm okay with that stuff as long as it doesn't break the player. One of the things I absolutely loathe about Hulu is, at least last time I looked at it, is its player doesn't work. Its commercials... By the way, Hulu has commercials whether you pay for it or not. Actually, I think they have like 2 tiers. It's like, you can't watch Hulu unless you pay us. And if you pay us, then you still get commercials. If you pay us even more, then we'll get rid of most of the commercials. It's like, nah. See, at least Funimation and Crunchyroll and sites like that are like, if you don't want to pay for it, fine, you gotta watch commercials. Do they break the player? No? That's fine. What I mean by break the player is a problem I had with Hulu back when I last used it years ago. Maybe they've fixed this in recent years. But not only did they have the same problem of playing the same exact goddamn commercials every single ad break, sometimes the same commercial over and over and over. Like, I think the worst one was I saw the same commercial repeated literally 7 times in the same ad break. That makes you want to punch a chair. But the problem is with Hulu, you'd get to the end of the ad break and the show wouldn't reload. So you'd have to, skip around the timeline to try and get the thing that you could either refresh or try and scoot the timeline, which would play the ad break again. So you'd spend 180 to 240 seconds watching an ad break, the show wouldn't reload, and you'd have to refresh or move on the timeline, and you'd have to watch the ad break again. I've not had that problem with either Crunchyroll or Funimation, so I'm willing to put up with their commercials. But if their commercials start breaking the player, then yeah, I would not be opposed to using an ad blocker to stop them from playing. The other thing that I noticed on Hulu, not as much of a problem in Crunchyroll. I have seen this Crunchyroll and Funimation, but they seem to be pretty decent about their ad breaks. Not putting them in the middle of a fucking sentence, in the middle of a scene. They usually seem to be pretty good about putting the ad breaks where the commercials would be. Unlike Hulu, which would just interrupt the show in the middle of an entire scene. And it's the most obnoxious thing ever. There's this other weird thing. Yeah, another thing, when the commercials are going, it's just alt-tab to something else and you just read something for the 2 minutes. I've seen before where the commercials, if the tab that your player is on is not the active window, then the commercial pauses. You can't tab away to something, so you have to keep it in its own window rather than its own a tab in your current window, or put it on a second screen and just mute it, like someone in the chat said. Warren said. Yeah, I'm not interested in the commercials either. At least with Crunchyroll and Funimation, the commercials are almost always relevant to the site. They're trailers for other shows. You might actually see something interesting. It's like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll check that out. Hulu's commercials? they're just car commercials and insurance commercials and stuff I genuinely don't care about. I'm watching cartoons. You want to advertise other cartoons I may want to watch? Well, I mean, hey, that's that is of my interest. But I'm watching cartoons. I have no shits do I give about car insurance right now. So, but yeah, I'm happy to whitelist. I do have an ad blocker and I do use it, but I try to whitelist every site. I wish the ad blockers had a whitelist everything by default, which they don't seem to have. So I try to make sure that I whitelist every site that I go to, and then only if their ads are intrusive to the experience do I block ads on the site. For example, if your ads make noise, I'm blocking your ads. If your ads flash or animate, I'm blocking your ads. If I literally can't read your site because loading your ads in and out keeps making the page scroll up and down, I'm blocking your ads. I am perfectly happy to have ads there because I know running websites are not cheap and you got to make money somehow, and I'm too damn cheap to subscribe. So I am perfectly happy to have commercials at relevant commercial spots within a show. If you start cutting into the middle of scenes, I'm going to start blocking your ads. And if I can't use your website or read your website because the ads are shifting the page all over the place or making noise or distracting me with animations and flashing lights, I'm going to block it. Other than that, I am perfectly happy to, let the ads be on your site. It's fine. I never look at them. I never click on them, but I have never ever intentionally clicked on an ad. So someone must. Either that, so you're not getting any click-throughs from me? I'm sorry, because if I gave the slightest shit about whatever you're advertising, I would be going to look for it. Right? Like, if I needed my house resided, I'd actually be looking for someone to reside my house. I don't live in a house, but my landlord would probably be pissed if I started doing something like that. So if I wanted shoes, I would go look for shoes. So advertising is weird to me because I seem to be kind of advertising immune. Oh, I'll remember catchy commercials and jingles and catchphrases, and it's good enough for brand recognition, sure. But I can't remember ever seeing an ad for anything and thinking, ooh, I must have that. Probably because I am exceptionally boring. But that may just be me. Lee says, I agree with having commercials in the middle of a cartoon on TV. That makes it 15 minutes. It's not a full 30 minutes, maybe shorter if they're doing it more. Yeah, I don't mind the ad breaks as long as you put them in a good spot. And wouldn't you know it, cartoons are, most of the anime we watch in Funimation and Crunchyroll have spots for ad breaks. Usually only one. And I know you guys want to put like 3 in a show, which, okay, I would prefer the one longer ad break in the middle rather than 3 shorter ones. But as long as you put them between scenes and not in the middle of a scene, cutting off a sentence, take care where you're putting your ad breaks. And I am perfectly happy to do my incredibly minuscule lazy ass part to help your site keep afloat, the one I keep using. So yeah, I know in North America there's usually like 3 ad breaks for a half-hour block. Apparently in Japan, I'm guessing they either have one right before one before and one after the show, and one in the middle, or they have just one big one right in the middle, like 5 to 8 minutes of ad breaks. Because the way most anime that I've seen is formatted is there's one clear break where the commercials are running. I don't know if there's 8 minutes of commercials there, or if they pad the front before and after the show with commercials. So if there's like 5 minutes of ads between each show, plus 5 minutes in the middle of each show, or thereabouts, because I know the shows average like 22, 23 minutes. Channels that have shows like the Sesame Street don't have commercials until the show's off. That's because that's on public broadcasting, right? So that's the one that's funded by the government and donations and such, right? Like National Public Radio. I think that I don't watch Sesame Street, so last time I saw Sesame Street, Elmo hadn't been invented yet. Or at least, I don't know when Elmo came on the scene, but I don't remember Elmo. So let me Google Elmo real quick and see when the hell Elmo came about. Premiered 98. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's Elmo's World. I was going to say, he's been around, because Tickle Me Elmo was like mid-90s somewhere. Okay. 1984. I'm pretty sure I would have seen... I was born in 1980. I'm pretty sure I saw Sesame Street after I was 4 years old, but I have absolutely no memory of ever seeing Elmo on Sesame Street. I remember, Bert, Ernie, Cookie Monster, Count, Snuffleupagus, Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, those characters, but I have absolutely no memory of Elmo. So he probably didn't become popular he was just there, but didn't become popular for a few years. Paid for by viewers like you. Yeah, there you go. So, all right. It's 8 o'clock, or it's a little after 8 o'clock, so we'll close the show here. Tomorrow, I usually alternate games every other week for the Sunday stream, but I want to play more Trails in the Sky, so tomorrow we will be playing more Trails in the Sky. So I hope you'll join me for that, because Estelle needs more training. Chicago says, I don't remember Elmo either. 1984 seems wrong. Yeah, I just did a very quick Google, and this is a Muppet wiki. It's a fan wiki. I have no idea how accurate it is, but just as a quick look. Anyway, so more Trails tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time. What did I do here? Oh, need to fix that. Got some of the contact paper pulling off of my desk drawer. So, thank you for attending Andrew's Therapy Hour. I mean the Molehill Mountain Podcast. Hope you had a good time, and enjoy yourself some Isekai anime. I know I will. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.